Welcome to episode 29 of the Heart of Markness podcast. I'm Mark. This is my Led Zeppelin / Jimmy Page podcast. And if you're just joining us, howdy. If you're not, get out. Tonight, this is going to be a little bit of a low energy podcast episode for a couple of reasons. One, I am 3/4 of the way over a bout of bronchitis, which you probably heard me beginning to get last episode with the coughing and all that. It's almost done, although I still have a deeper voice than usual. That's not a big deal. I'm kind of tired after working and stuff, but also, for some reason, the gods have decided to strike me with a knee that is the size of a regulation basketball for no reason whatsoever. I've got my right knee has some arthritis in it because I'm old, and it decided to act up and is now swollen and painful and fucking sucky, which makes me exceedingly grumpy because moving sucks and holding still sucks, and I happen to like to sit cross-legged. And I can't because it is agony, so I have to sit like a doofus with my leg poked out like I'm a war veteran. And I'm not. I'm just a fuckhead with a painful knee. So, apologies. This is not going to be the best one ever. But it still will be live Led Zeppelin, so that should make you all happy. And this week, I'm keeping with probably the last time for a little while. The early 73 tour, not the Europe one, but actually the one a little before that, the UK tour. In very late 72 into early 73, Zeppelin did a tour of the UK, playing smaller halls because there aren't a whole lot of big, stadiums and coliseums in the UK, especially 800 million years ago. They played a bunch of smaller theaters and venues. And it's interesting. There are some soundboard recordings that are good. The downside of it is Robert's voice is in poor shape. I would say it's among the worst his voice has sounded, aside from the very early January 75 shows when he had the flu, because he got off the plane in Chicago in January wearing his stupid frilly shirt open to the waist and immediately got sick. This is where his voice is kind of thrashed, and they're still working out how to deal with the new Robert voice, where he's not singing Over the Hills and Far Away in the original register, but the Many Have I Loved, Many Times Been Bitten, that instead of the Many Have I Loved. We all know that, as well as rock and roll and all those songs sung not in their original key and in their original register, because he lost that ability by tearing the hell out of his voice without proper warm-ups and proper care and cigarettes and cocaine and not warming up and not cool, just, balls to the wall, and it bit him. So this show that we're going to listen to, which is January 22nd in Southampton, England, was multitrack recorded for official release, and unfortunately it didn't meet muster because of Robert's voice. But we do have a Winston remaster of those multitrack, or probably a mixdown of the multitracks. At some point I had a disc labeled the Kevin Shirley tapes, which were revisited and remixed by Kevin Shirley back in 2003 when he did How the West Was Won, and the audio. I think he did the audio for the DVD as well. But I could not find it. Too many moves, divorces, things. So I downloaded a Winston remaster of what I think is the same tape. And it sounds excellent. It's a very laid back, cool concert. Cool as in, hey man, what's up? Not cool as in not very good. It's a small venue, and the energy is not as high as, some of the American gigs where you have tens of thousands of people. but it is very groovy, very cool. And because it's professionally recorded, it sounds exquisite. And that's why I put it in here, because I have to, because it sounds better than the soundboards, because it is better than the soundboards. A multi-track mixdown, remastered by Winston, who does great remastering. He did the Vienna show last week and the week before. And I think you're going to dig it. So what we're playing from these shows we're going to play How Many More Times, which flows right into Communication Breakdown. And I'm playing it because this was not played much on this tour. It was swapped out, and it is a neat version of it because, this song was not really played anymore at this point in their career. They had phased that out, although they did bring it back in 75 when Jimmy had the broken finger, and they didn't play Dazed and Confused for a while. They went back to How Many More Times. But How Many More Times, I don't believe was played on the U.S. tour, or if it was played very rarely. I don't think it was. So it's unique. It's professionally recorded. It's Led Zeppelin, and it's How Many More Times. What are you going to do? Robert's voice is a hindrance because he hadn't figured out how to work around it yet. He's figuring it out at this point. Or it's just worse than usual and there's nothing they can do about it. I don't know. I am speculating a lot, so I apologize to any members of Led Zeppelin who listen to my podcast, and I'm sure they all do, all the surviving ones anyways. Man, if they did, I would be mortified and elated. I love you guys. I worship you guys. You're the best. And now I'm just imagining it. Okay, let's get to it, shall we? How Many More Times? January 22nd, 1973, Southampton. Enjoy. I'll see you in a little bit. Or I'll hear you. I don't know. I won't do either. You'll hear me. Anyway, here we go.
Shake it, shake it. Hey, girl, stop what you're doing. Ooh, yes, you're driving me crazy. I don't know what it is about you that I like so much. Oh, Jimmy, baby, ooh, you know, you feel your loving touch. Communication breakdown, so to say, I'm the universe breakdown. Ooh, yes, I got something you wanna know. I wanna feel you, that I love you so. I wanna hold you in my arms, yes. I'm never gonna let you go, 'cause I like you, John. Communication breakdown, so it's the same. I'm the nervous breakdown. I wanna know what James Brown said. I wanna know what James Brown said. James Brown said. If you leave me, I know I'm gonna communication breakdown. It's not in my soul, no, no. And it's a thoroughly knackered good night.
Well, what'd you think? I can see why they didn't release it professionally, but it was nice to hear them play it. It's very tight. It's great to hear Bonzo's drums in multitrack. My God, it's so good. And very fluid, very chill. You see what I mean? It's very chill, cool. They're not flailing around, going crazy. They're not drenched in sweat. They're playing a small venue. I don't know if you guys are into the Rolling Stones, you should be. But around this time, in fact, this year, no, not even this year. In 1971, the Stones video recorded a set as well in Leeds. And it was a similar thing. They're playing all these songs that are huge. They're playing songs from Sticky Fingers, and but they're just in a small club. And it's weird because they don't have that same energy, because they don't have that massive crowd to feed off of, and they don't have to project as big. And they're playing wonderfully, and it's really cool. But it's almost it's incongruous to see such a big band at the height of their. I mean, arguably the Stones in the early '70s were at the zenith, and man. Speaking of, to another tangent, imagine like in 1973 when you could reasonably see, like, Yes on their Close to the Edge tour, I think, or Relayer or something, when they were still amazing with Rick Wakeman the first time around. You could see Floyd with Dark Side of the Moon. They were playing that in 72, 73. You could see The Who. You know, you could see them on The Who's Next tour. You could see them on Quadrophenia. I mean, again, the zenith of these, and Zeppelin, all around the same time. Can you imagine that just back in the day? I mean, when I was in high school, it was like Judas Priest, Night Ranger, Foreigner. It was the 80s, man. If you liked the 80s, we don't have much to talk about the 80s in music. Smithers. Although I did see Deep Purple in 85 on their Mark II reunion tour, and it was fucking incredible. It might have been the best show I've ever seen still, because it was fun and they were enjoying themselves, which I guess was short-lived because I guess they hate each other. But it was really good. Boy, I'm on a tangent. I'm sorry, guys. Loopy from being sick, and my goddamn knee is just wham, wham, wham. So I'm distracted. I apologize. So, Mark, if you're distracted, why are you wasting our time talking? Excellent question, invisible human who's not there. But an excellent point. So let's move along, shall we? If this is not going to be a top shelf episode, it shouldn't be a long one. Correct? Correct. The next song I will play, and the last one, because we're not doing these 45-minute episodes every time, especially when it's like, this is what I want to play for you. I will when it warrants it, is Thank You, a song that they did do in 73. And I'm not doing the organ solo, although I think it was the mellotron. If you listen to the song, Jonesy's playing the mellotron on this, which again makes it kind of unique. And it being a multi-track recording, it sounds clear, so it's beautiful. And it's Thank You. It's always beautiful. So here we go. We're going to wrap up this subpar, apologies to you all, episode with Led Zeppelin. Thank you. And thank you, dear listener. I love you. So I'll talk to you in a little bit.
I would still be loving you if mountains crumble to the sea. There will still be you and me. Oh, kind woman, I give you my all. Kind woman, nothing more. Little drops of rain whisper all the pain. Tears of love's lost in the days gone by. My love is strong. With you there is no wrong. Together we shall go until we die. My inspiration's what you are to me, yeah. Inspiration, look sweet. Your hand in mine, we walk the mile. Thanks to you, it will be done. For you to me, I'm the only one. Oh, happiness, no more sad. Happiness, I'm glad. If the sun refused to shine, I would still be loving you. If mountains crumble to the sea, there will still be you and me. Bum ba bum ba bum ba bum 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 bum. Thank you, thank you.
Interesting, huh? It's interesting to hear them so. Excuse me, I'm gonna cough again. Pardon me, guys. That's gotta suck. Not bombastic. I mean, just literally 2 months later, they're practically, Slayer in places. They're insanely intense. If you listen to last week's episode or the week before, you'll hear it. This time, it's weird. I think this is a combination of factors. First of all, very small audiences. They sold 110,000 tickets for this tour, but they had 25 dates. And that averages 4,500 people per show average. And that's not going to be. They played a theater with fewer than 800 seats on this tour. And they also only charged £1 per ticket. So they weren't making a ton of money. If they made money, I'm sure they did. But even if they didn't, it was a gift to the UK fans. It was their last UK tour, and it was awkward. I guess it's awkward in that Rolling Stones way of they're shoehorning themselves into these smaller venues with these smaller audiences. And you heard the applause. It was, yay, not the rapturous, thunderous wave of the ocean that they would get from, and had gotten, on the last tour of America when they recorded How the West Was Won. So I think, and plus Robert's voice is a problem here. As I said, he had damaged it through, but he also, at the beginning of this tour, he and Bonzo were driving to a gig. Excuse me, I'm gonna cough again. Sorry. He and Bonzo were driving to a gig. Wikipedia says it was on the 2nd of January. And their car broke down. And if I recall, I read at some point that he and Bonzo walked a bit and then they hitched a ride. But again, out in the cold with his stupid stage clothes on. Not great for the old voice box, says the man with the croaky voice. But so that would explain it too, why his voice isn't great. But isn't it interesting to hear that mellotron in such clarity on this track? It almost sounds like a mashup between Thank You and Strawberry Fields Forever in places. It's that same string. It may even be the same sample, the same tapes. Because there was a bunch of presets. That may be one of the presets. That may be the Strawberry Fields Forever preset. But it's very pretty. And even though it doesn't rage, and even though Robert's voice in this song for most of it is fine, it's not powerful. He's not pushing it. And because he's not pushing it, the rest of the band has to, therefore, take a step back to still be in the proper proportion and balance. Because if the rest of the band is just balls to the wall, intense, and Robert's like, "Oh, my love," it won't matter. It won't mix. It won't work. So they're all a little more mellow. It's a smaller venue. It's a university, so it's probably just a university theater, a couple thousand people. And, they probably had their wives with them, too. And these guys, there's no groupie talk. There's no strutting around, because you can't strut around when when your wife's looking at you. Because if you've ever been in a relationship, once you're with them a while, nothing you do impresses them. "Oh, honey, I played before 56,000 people tonight." "Oh, did you? Did you take the trash out? Did you paint the house? Did you call my mother and thank her?" Oh, and I'm sure it goes both ways. But I only have my one point of view. And anyway, like I said, I'm grumpy. I'm sorry. Everybody's wonderful. So there it is. January 22nd, 1973. Led Zeppelin. Jimmy played well. He was a little low in the mix at times, which is unfortunate, but man, Bonzo's cymbals, crisp and clear, and that mellotron, unbelievable. You gotta love it. I will have this up on my website, heartofmarkness.com. The entire show, you can get it. If it's give it a couple days. It takes me a few days to get that up because it's a little bit of a pain in the ass because I'm lazy, but it'll be there. Last week's show is up there. Everything is up to date. I'm a good boy. And this one will hopefully be up in the next day or two. Maybe even tonight if I, just kind of Spartacus my way through it. So thank you, everybody. Next week will be better, I promise. And social media time. Follow me on Twitter, Heart of Markness, at Heart of Markness, or in the Facebook group, Heart of Markness, or the aforementioned website, heartofmarkness.com. And please jump in. Talk to me. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Don't tell me what you don't like. And, give me some suggestions. Give me some feedback. We can be friends. So do it. Join me. And thank you very much, guys. And I'll talk to you next week. Thank you.